That is crazy. Is the queen. Okay, hello, welcome back to another video. Today, playing e4 against an opponent rated nearly 2300. So, do I dare play the Bengharini? Absolutely. a3, and my opponent plays e6. Nice solid response. Kind of annoying that they didn't go for knight c6 immediately. However, thinking I might play b4 now. Yeah, might as well. I mean, playing like a 2300, you've got to have no respect for your opponent. That's one of the key. It's one of the key principles of chess. Do not quote me on that. And my opponent takes, so c3, knight c6, and d4. Now, will they go for d5? I think that's likely. And if they do, I think I'll play e5. Okay, we see e6. Probably understanding that e5 is not very pleasant to face necessarily. But obviously what we've got here, as a standard Bengharini, is very speedy development with the bishops, a very big claim to the center, nice and stabilized by that c-pawn, an open a-file with the rook, and a nice developed knight, all for the price of a pawn. So, pretty decent position. Now, I think I'm going to play bishop d3. Not exactly sure, but I do like the idea of playing e5 and opening up onto h7 long term after we see my opponent inevitably castle that way, because there's no way they're castling behind an open c-file with my rook having an open a-file as well. So I'm going to go for bishop d3. That is my rationale. But yeah, I mean, I don't actually know what 2300 translates to, as in Lee chess, to like FIDE rating. But we are just going to castle here. There is no way we are castling queenside, of course. But this guy is definitely a strong player. Maybe bishop g5 is an idea, but as we see, yeah, knight f6, bishop e7, and castles is undoubtedly going to happen. Whoa, actually, am I going to get a Greek gift? Surely they won't give me a Greek gift. There's simply no way. If I go knight a3 here, for instance, just waiting, and we see castles, and I play e5, and we see takes, and we see takes, and then this knight moves. Then I go check, king takes, knight g5. That doesn't work because the bishop can take the knight. Okay, sorry, I was just got a bit carried away there. We are going to play knight a3, however, just a move that doesn't look very good, because obviously, why would you play knight a3? I believe this is the opening move in the sodium attack, na3, being a hilarious bit of banter there for the those of you familiar with the periodic table, of course. Now, knight c4 actually seems like a move that I'm looking to play. Knight c4, knight e3, perhaps being a potential rerouting of this knight here. Also, I don't hate knight b5. A very common idea in the Bengharini Sicilian, knight a3, knight b5, because you can't really kick it yet with this pawn because the pawn is pinned to the rook. So, you know, knight b5, a6. Not sure actually. I don't know. I think I will go for knight c4. Now, I'm trying to centralize this knight because we do have the c3 pawn here, so knight c3 isn't as easy to play at all. Now, I can play a very interesting move, knight takes d6. And after bishop takes, I can then play e5 and fork and win back the material, I think. But say we go knight takes d6, bishop takes d6, e5, maybe we see knight takes e5, pawn takes e5. We could say bishop takes f3, and then I have to take that with my queen. Then the bishop recaptures here. And I'm not sure we've done very well there. Okay, you know what? Let's just calm down. Play rook e1. Obviously going to be a pretty strong move. Bring that rook here to the e-file. Now we see d5. Very delayed from our opponent, but maybe they're actually worried about this, but I mean, also it's a great play into the center. Now I think I will play knight e3. It looks kind of nice, just putting these knights next to each other. However, I actually think I want to leave this open because I'm going to need to be able to recapture. Let's just play e5. Takes, 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 recaptures, recaptures. Here, takes, takes, but then maybe here, but then here. You know what? I'm playing e5. I'm absolutely playing e5. We're opening up this bishop. And now we're taking this knight. And should they recapture here, then I get this pawn here, and I get, I guess, a nice open bishop if I just slide it back to d3, or maybe bishop b3, bishop c2. I don't think it really matters which way this bishop goes, but it can end up on c2, maybe even queen d3, and we're looking at mating ideas. I mean, my opponent's up a pawn, but perhaps it's worth the sacrifice. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'll play bishop d3. And I think I'm just going to go bishop d3, bishop c2. Maybe even bishop b1, just because it's kind of funny to have the bishops next to each other like that. And they're obviously very long-range pieces. But I don't hate my position. I mean, yes, I'm down a pawn. My opponent plays h6, probably very advisable. Yes, I'm down a pawn, but I don't know if I'm going to feel that until this pawn gets to pushing. And by that time, can I reroute this knight and deal some damage over here? That is definitely what I'm hoping. You know what? I'm going for knight d2. Knight d2, knight e4. Gonna kick this bishop. Gonna play queen g4. Threaten to take on h6. We're gonna do all sorts here. This is a very fun position. I mean, okay, again, this kind of seems a bit slow. I mean, I can go like this. And if you let me take this bishop, then I've got a bishop pair. And I think that's plenty compensation. No way, really? Yeah, I'm taking this. I'm not even hesitating. Now I've got a bishop pair. Yes, this bishop's very good, but actually, do I particularly care? Can I lift a rook and then just ignore whatever's going on? Kind of annoying that I can't access f3. But I'm actually just thinking rook e3 looks really good. Rook e3, rook g3. There's no threat of this. I just take with the queen. Yeah, I'm going for it. 100%. We're lifting a rook. And we've got this gorgeous bishop here. Even bishop c2, queen d3 are absolutely still an idea. Okay, the knight comes in here, but I mean, I control all of these squares with my bishop. And after I just move my rook, I'm really not concerned. Rook g3, and there's no dark squared bishop anymore. So my rook is going to be immortal there on g3 as long as this knight can't kick it. And we're just, we've lifted a rook just very belligerently. Very blatantly, just putting it on the same file as the king. My opponent is just ignoring what I'm doing over here, saying there is no threat. I am not scared of you. And I'm tempted to think that that's a mistake, because maybe queen h5 here, and then I'm threatening bishop takes h6 because if queen takes, this queen takes, and this pawn is pinned to the king. Bang. And maybe there's also bishop g5. Because if you take here, this mate, yeah, I mean, 100% of the time we're playing queen h5. Just look at that move. This knight, I'm not scared of this knight. It's not doing anything. It can't come anywhere into the position. It's only got one move to here. This bishop, I mean, yes, it's a great bishop, but there's nothing really coupling up with that bishop to make threats on g2. All my pieces are pointing towards the enemy king here. And you've got to find some way to protect h6. And these rooks just can't do it. The king just steps across. Are you joking? What if now I play this? That is crazy. Is the queen? This could be the best move I've ever played. Look at this. The queen is just trapped. And you can't take this because it's pinned to the... This is amazing. Oh my days. Against a 2300. There's no way. Bishop g5. And I think I've just won. I mean, the pawn can't take. If the queen takes, then I just take with rook. My rook on g3, wow. That's an interesting resource. Because yes, I can take it, but then the queen can run to here. And should I take? Oh, wait, surely I take the queen, you take the queen, then I go check. King here, takes. I'm definitely winning there. Oh, and then I win a knight. Yeah, 100% of the time. We just take this. Maybe I could take this, but I think it's easier to just get rid of the queens here because I have such a solid means of winning this. This is just a one game. And my opponent resigns. Oh my days. Oh my days. Yeah? Okay, alright. Yeah, goodbye. Just got off the phone with Fide there. They're saying that for some reason me playing bishop g5 just then doesn't make me eligible for the candidates next year. I can't see why, because that could be one of the best moves I've ever played. However, let's go through the game. I genuinely think this is one of the best games I've played in a long time. Average centipoint loss of only 19, which is, for a game as dynamic as that, very good. And all against a 2300 as well. So, e4, c5 is Sicilian, a3 the Bengharini, then we see e6, knight f3, knight c6, and I went for b4 anyway. After takes and takes, my opponent should have taken with the bishop, but they took with the knight instead, allowing me to get c3 and d4 in. And if you look at this evaluation, 0.0, that does not mean it's a drawing position. That just means both sides have equal winning chances here. Black is up a pawn, they already have a passed pawn, and it's like the 7th move of the game. They actually had a passed pawn on the 5th move of the game, which is obviously, you know, not something that you want to give away necessarily. However, if you get the compensation of all this activity here and this huge claim to the center, then, you know, that is obviously the justification for it. Very unbalanced position though, so obviously exactly the kind of thing I like to play. Now, we see d6, bishop d3, and knight f6, castles here. Knight a3, computer doesn't hate it, surprisingly, but rerouting it to c4 here, and then going rook e1, just preparing this e5 move, and here we see d5. Now, I'm very aware that I probably shouldn't have played the move I'm about to play. Yeah, in fact, look, we see here, e5 question mark, yeah, minus 1.7, not good at all. I was kind of aware of this, but I really wanted to open this up and try and make it a much more dynamic position. And after we see takes, and takes here, I mean, I think my opponent would have done maybe a little bit better to take this bishop, and after takes, knight takes, queen takes, if we turn on the evaluation there, yeah, I think that's, the computer slightly prefers this. Just getting rid of my light square bishop, which obviously proved to be a bit of a menace. But my opponent chooses to go for the other way. Again, still up a pawn, but we just drop this light square bishop back. You know, very, very simple move, putting pressure on h7, and we have the time to do this. h6, not the best move here, because as you saw, that was actually just not effective. It was a sort of a target. It was a hook almost for my bishop and queen when it came into h5. But then I went to reroute this knight. It actually wanted me to go bishop c2 and queen d3 and threaten checkmate, maybe inducing g6, making h6 weak, etc. So that could have been an idea as well. But I really wanted to get rid of this dark square bishop, which my opponent allowed me to do. The computer now thinks that I don't have enough activity to justify my being a pawn down. That's why it gives the evaluation of -1, because it just sees I'm a pawn down. However, rook e3, rook g3, queen h5, bishop g5 or bishop h6, all these moves I saw were coming in, sorry about that. All these moves I saw were coming in this position, and after the knight hops in here, after I lift my rook and the knight hops in here, that was inaccurate for my opponent because I can just move my rook across. And as I said, apart from this square, the knight is now going nowhere. I mean, I'm not at all worried about this piece. I'm not considering knight a5 as a move here. And after my opponent played a5, instantly they're lost. Remember I said at the start how they'd got this passed pawn on move 5? Well, they tried to push it, and very much to the detriment of their position, because bang, queen h5. And as I said, neither of these rooks can really do anything about the threat of just bishop takes on here. My pawn luckily controls this c5 square, so obviously the rooks can't get active. Yes, this bishop's good, but only long term, and I'm making some very immediate attacking threats. This knight is not scary, and all that's here is a queen. My rook, on the other hand, is absolutely beautiful. I didn't play e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, but that was bellissimo. And then after the king moves, bishop g5. This was the best move. Obviously, we actually trap the queen out of nowhere in this position. The pawn is pinned to the king. The activity of all of my pieces shows, a5, a move trying to make the most of a passed pawn, instantly loses because black was just one tempo away from being crushed that whole game. Or not that whole game, but at least after the middle game began. And I mean, yeah, just a5, and all of this just starts coming with tempo. The king moves across. Yes, they didn't have to play that, but had they just developed this, then if we turn on the engine, I could have just played this. We could have seen some crazy rook moves, though. He wants me to take this knight. Okay, very interesting, but I mean, I'm still attacking here, and let's say we see here and rook here. Sorry about that. I can actually go back to g5, interestingly enough. And after this, I mean, I'm inducing all sorts of weaknesses. That would have been completely winning as well. However, we get to see bishop g5, trapping the queen. And after the rook moves here, I just take this. Because there's mate in 5? I thought because after takes here, I take this, you recapture, and then I just take this knight for free. But there's mate in 5 here, which is... Okay, we see here. I'm going to find this. It's got to be check. Here. Oh my days. Double check? Yeah, you need to take this first, because if I go bishop f6 now, you can go rook g5. And yes, you lose the rook, but if I take this first, double check, king here by force. I mean, rook g5 is trivial because we just take the rook. Check again. You come back here, then I go check. Rook here, mate. That is unreal. Let's just double check that is the most efficient line. Takes. Yeah, and if the rook goes here, then I mean, we just take it. And it's like the same thing, but just in a different move order. And then here, we also have this checkmate. We got multiple mates in this position, but oh my days. What a move that would have been. But my opponent just could not hack it anymore and resigns after we take their queen with that bishop g5, bishop f6 maneuver. And yeah, a crazy, crazy game. One of my best, if I do say so myself. Apparently does not make me eligible for the candidates, but all of this against a 2300. What more do you want? Like, subscribe, comment, show some love for bishop g5. Actually one of the best moves I've ever played. Thank you very much for watching. We are closing in on 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I think we're on like 920 right now, which is amazing. So any of you that aren't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. It would help me a lot, because once I hit that 1,000, I mean, that's been actually a life goal for like 2 years now, or like a year and a half. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that I'm close to hitting 1K subs now. It feels kind of surreal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.